You feel tired. Not the kind of tired sleep can fix. A deeper tired. The kind that lives inside your bones. Because slowly, without noticing, you became a power source. For everyone else, you give advice. You give time. You give patience. You give understanding. And yet, respect never comes. Only requests. More favors. More expectations. You look around. People with less discipline. Less intelligence. Less heart. And yet, they receive respect. While you receive another request, you thought kindness would protect you. You thought generosity would earn loyalty. But human psychology does not work that way. In the dark corners of the mind, unlimited kindness does not signal virtue. It signals weakness. People do not respect what is always free. They consume it, until nothing remains. But there is a way to end this cycle. A psychological shift. A dangerous one. The moment you do it, people stop using you and start fearing the day you walk away. Most people live like this, not as players, but as pieces, moved by expectations, moved by guilt, moved by the fear of disappointing others. And slowly, without realizing it, you become a resource. Not a person. You were trained to believe something. A very dangerous idea, that your value comes from usefulness. If you help enough, if you sacrifice enough, if you prove yourself enough, then people will respect you. But usefulness does not create respect. It creates dependence. And dependence creates a servant. A servant is never respected, only tolerated, only used. In the wild, predators do not attack predators. Too risky, too dangerous. They hunt the harmless, the slow, the defenseless. When you present yourself as harmless, you become the easiest target. You thought you were signaling kindness. But the unconscious mind reads something else. No resistance, no consequences, no danger. And where there is no danger, there is no respect. Respect is not built on kindness alone. Respect comes from potential consequences, from boundaries, from the quiet understanding that crossing you has a cost. And right now, the world believes you have no teeth. Here is the trap. The invisible contract you signed, not on paper, but inside your own mind. It goes like this. I will be good. I will be helpful. I will never complain. I will sacrifice. I will understand you. I will anticipate your needs. I will carry your burdens. And in return, you will love me. You will stay. But there is one problem. You never told them about this contract. You signed it. Alone. Inside your head. And now, you are angry they never followed it. You expect them to notice your effort, to reward your sacrifice, to mirror your loyalty. But why would they? You made it easy. You trained them to take. This is the dark side of the nice person. It looks like kindness, but often it is fear. Fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear of being left alone. So you make a deal with the world. If I become useful enough, they will never leave me. If I become needed enough, I will never be abandoned. But understand this, a servant is always needed. And still, a servant is never respected. This is the real war. Not between you and other people, but between two versions of you. The one who wants peace, and the one who wants self-respect. For years, You sacrificed respect to keep the peace. Think about the last time someone disrespected you. You felt it instantly. That heat in your chest. That pressure in your throat. That was not anger. That was your self-respect speaking. Inside you, there is something dangerous. A shadow. A force that says, enough. But you chained it. You silenced it. You called it being a good person. A harmless man is not virtuous. He is simply powerless. A rabbit cannot choose peace, because violence was never an option. True virtue requires power, the power to destroy, and the wisdom to stay calm. The world respects controlled power, not harmlessness, not obedience, controlled power. The quiet knowledge that if necessary, you could walk away and burn the bridge behind you. Most people will never do this. They will remain harmless, safe, predictable, easy to use. But a few people will understand. If you feel that shift happening inside you right now, leave one word below. Awake. Not for me, for yourself. People rarely attack all at once. They test. Small pushes. A late cancellation. A careless joke. A little disrespect. Nothing dramatic. Just enough to see where your fence stands. And every time they push, you forgive. You explain. You understand. The fence falls. And their mind learns something important. There are no consequences. When there are no consequences, people expand. They take a little more time, a little more energy, a little more patience. Until one day, they believe they own the land. You think they are confused. You think they don't realize they hurt you. But watch closely. They know. They are simply checking fence. And every time it falls, they push further. Boundaries are not suggestions. They are walls. And a wall only works when people believe crossing it has a price. The moment people sense a real boundary, everything changes. Your value rises. Your presence feels different. Not because you became cruel, but because you finally became a person with consequences. There is another truth most people ignore. Every yes costs something. Time, energy, attention. And the cost is invisible, because the price is paid with your life. Every time you say yes to someone else, you say no to something else. Your recovery, your focus, your growth, your peace. When you help while exhausted, you sell your energy. When you accept disrespect quietly, you sell your dignity. And the tragedy is this: you sell it for almost nothing. Air is essential, but it is everywhere. So it is free. Gold is useless for survival, but it is rare. So people kill to obtain it. Right now, you behave like air. Always available, always present, always ready to help. And the human mind does not respect what is everywhere. If you want to change your value, you must change your availability. Stop being air. Become gold. Not everywhere. Not for everyone. Scarcity creates value. When you change your availability, something strange will happen. Some people will disappear. The messages stop. The invitations vanish. The silence grows. And, for a moment, you will think you made a mistake. But look closer. Those people were never there for you. They were there for access. Access to your time, your energy, your usefulness. When you stop giving what they consume, they leave. Not because you changed, but because their supply disappeared. This is the moment most people fear. Solitude. No noise, no validation, no constant approval. But understand this: solitude is not loneliness, it is freedom. In solitude, you rebuild your energy, your discipline, your mind, your mission. While others are distracted, you become stronger, and something else begins to happen. People notice, not because you chase them, but because you stopped chasing anyone. Distance creates curiosity, and curiosity creates value. When you stop feeding the dynamic, something strange happens. The people who depended on you begin to panic, because suddenly the flow has stopped. The energy, the attention, the endless availability is gone. They will test you again. Are you mad? Did I do something wrong? Why are you distant? Understand this. This is not concern. This is investigation. They are checking if the machine is broken, if the supply is still available. And in that moment you have a choice. Reconnect the wire or remain silent. Most people cannot tolerate silence. They rush to fill it with apologies, with explanations, with nervous words. But silence is power. Silence creates gravity. When manipulators cannot control you, they try to provoke you. Guilt, anger, accusations. But if you become a gray rock, there is nothing for them to grab. The moment you stop reacting, the game changes. Manipulation loses oxygen. Control disappears, and people begin to see you differently. If this perspective resonates with you, let it travel. Pass this idea forward so others can see it too. There is one principle that changes every dynamic. One rule most people are too afraid to follow: the power to walk away. Real power does not come from control. It comes from freedom. People use you for one simple reason. They know you are attached. Attached to the job. Attached to the relationship. Attached to the approval. And the moment someone knows you cannot leave, you lose leverage. A prisoner does not need chains, only dependency. The belief that survival exists only inside the cage. But cages are psychological, and the door is often open. The moment you accept that you could walk away, everything changes. Your posture, your voice, your silence. Because now you are not negotiating from fear. You are negotiating from freedom. This is the shadow most people refuse to integrate. The willingness to burn the bridge while standing on it. Not out of cruelty, but out of dignity. He who cares less holds the power. This is the iron law of human dynamics. If you cannot leave, you are controlled. If you can leave, you are respected. Freedom creates gravity. At some point, you will meet him, the old version of you. The one who tolerated everything, who explained too much, who apologized too quickly, who stayed long after respect was gone. He will whisper soft things. Be nice. Be patient. Don't cause problems. Keep the peace. Because that version of you believes something very dangerous. That harmony is more important than dignity. But here is the brutal truth. Peace without respect is not peace. It is submission. And submission always invites more control. Look at your past. The times you said yes when you meant no. The times you stayed quiet when you felt anger. The times you tolerated what you should have ended. That version of you was not weak. He was simply afraid to lose people. Afraid to lose connection. Afraid to stand alone. But the man you are becoming understands something deeper. Respect is not negotiated. It is enforced by presence, by boundaries, and by the quiet truth that you are willing to walk away. Once you step back, you begin to see it. The game. Human dynamics are not random. They are patterns, tests, movements on a psychological chessboard. Before you were a piece, easy to move, easy to predict. People knew how you would react. They knew you would forgive. They knew you would stay. But the moment you become unpredictable, something shifts. You stop reacting on command. You stop explaining. You stop chasing. And suddenly, you are no longer a piece. When you stop playing their script, people become confused. They search for the old version of you. The predictable one. The convenient one. But he is gone. Power is not loud. It is perspective. The ability to step back far enough to see the pattern everyone else is trapped inside. And when you see the pattern, you stop reacting emotionally. You move strategically. Calm, quiet, deliberate. And that is when people realize they can no longer use you. Once you understand these dynamics, you start seeing something else. Masks. Everywhere. The friendly mask. The victim mask. The moral mask. People rarely show their intentions. They perform. Not everyone who smiles supports you. Not everyone who helps respects you. And not everyone who stays wants the best for you. Some people stay because you are useful. Human society is a theater. Roles, scripts, expectations. And the moment you stop playing your assigned role, people react. Because the script is broken. When you stop being predictable, people become nervous. Because control requires patterns. And patterns require obedience. The most dangerous person in any system is the one who no longer needs approval. Because that person cannot be easily manipulated or controlled. And when you stop seeking approval, you gain something rare. Clarity. You stop asking how to please people. And you start asking a better question. Who deserves access to you? There is one final truth most people avoid. Power requires a shadow. Not cruelty. Not violence. But the awareness that you are capable of both. Inside every calm man, there must be a dragon. For years, you tried to bury it. Your anger, your boundaries, your ability to say no. You believed being harmless made you good, but a harmless man is easy to control, easy to exploit, easy to ignore. A man becomes dangerous not when he loses control, but when he gains it. The dragon must not run your life, but it must exist. Because when people know you are capable of defending yourself, the dynamic changes. Respect appears where exploitation once lived. This is the balance few people achieve. Calm, but not weak. Kind, but not naive. Peaceful, but not harmless. When your shadow stands behind you instead of controlling you, something changes. People sense it. A quiet gravity. A presence that cannot be pushed or used ever again. Now you understand why people use others. Why boundaries change everything. Why silence is powerful. Why distance creates value. And why the ability to walk away is the ultimate freedom. Most people will continue the same pattern. Explaining, chasing, seeking approval, trying to be liked by everyone, because that path feels safe. But a small number choose differently. They accept the discomfort of independence. They accept misunderstanding, distance, silence. And in return, they gain something rare, control over their own life. From this position, you begin to see human behavior more clearly. The patterns, the tests, the silent negotiations that happen in every interaction. You no longer need to prove yourself. You no longer need to convince anyone, because power is not loud. It is presence. A quiet signal that says, I respect myself. This path is not for everyone. But if these ideas resonate with you, then stay close. There are more lessons about power, human nature, and psychological mastery ahead. Subscribe, turn on the bell, and do not miss the next step of the journey.